It's the last word for your Monday. We're putting it out a little bit early again today so you can get ready for Game 3. Go Blue Jays go. It is Canada Positive Week here on Bakes on Things as a result of an email I got from a Liberal over the weekend challenging me that we couldn't do this. So welcome back. And this is our second episode of our Canada's Week of Hope, Canada Positive. And this morning we talked about new voices in a new Canada, the next generation of conservatives that are breaking through, bringing fresh energy and belief into public life here in this country, slowly but surely. Today or tonight, we're going to go a little bit deeper because hope isn't just about the new faces. It's about what those faces represent to the rest of us as Canadians. It's about who gets to stand up for Canada and how their stories mirror the country we actually live in, not the cartoon version the media keeps pushing. This episode is called Representation That Reflects Canada because that's truly what this is about. Because for too long, the left has claimed a monopoly on diversity, compassion, and inclusion, as if anyone right of center couldn't possibly care about those things, couldn't possibly care about people's stories, their struggles, or their origins. That's a complete and utter lie pushed by the mainstream media, and it's being shattered every single day by a growing generation of conservative leaders who look like Canada, sound like Canada, and fight like Canadians. Let's talk about them. Let's talk about real representation in this country, not the staged kind. Let's go.
Welcome to Bakes on Things.
Welcome back to Bakes on Things for your Monday evening. It's the last word, and we're coming out a little bit earlier today at 4 o'clock just because we want to make sure you're ready to go and watch Game 3 of the World Series. Go Jays, go. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, join the conversation down below. As you know, it's Positivity Week here on Bakes on Things, Canada Positive. We got that email that says we couldn't do it, so we're going to do it. This morning, we talked with Melissa, or not with Melissa Lantsman, but about Melissa Lantsman, and we're going to just continue that chat just for now because there's so much more to Melissa that you really probably don't know. She's a powerhouse MP from Thornhill who's Jewish, of course, who's part of the LGBTQ community, daughter of Soviet immigrants. We talked about all that this morning. And yet, one of the sharpest communicators and most respected voices in the Conservative caucus. I thought Liberals thought Conservatives don't accept people like her, but that's not the truth. And you know what's hopeful about all of this? She never asks for any pity or special treatment for breaking that barrier. She's not out there demanding you clap for her identity because she's a conservative. She's out there demanding results. Housing approvals, infrastructure reform, safer streets, real economic security for the working families of her riding. That's what she demands. And she's not part of the woke crowd. And that's the point. Representation isn't about the labels that one might put on anybody. It's about leadership. Melissa's story blows a hole in the lazy media narrative that the Conservative Party is a closed club for old white dudes in oil jackets. It's not. It's not like that at all. It's becoming the party of competence, confidence, and courage. And if you can deliver those things as a party, there's a seat for you there. So she doesn't march around waving rainbow flags for attention. She gets up and defends her constituents proudly. She's the living proof that a Canadian can be proud of who they are and still believe in fiscal responsibility, freedom of speech, and strong national security. She's proud to be a gay woman, but she's also proud to be representing for her country. And that, my friends, is the future of Canada. This is something we have to start to recognize. I heard somebody call Jamil Jivani the next Charlie Kirk for Canada, but they didn't mean it in a positive way. Let's talk about Jamil for a second. He's another story that deserves to be shouted from the rooftops from the conservative world. Jamil Jivani is a MP for Durham. He's the son of an African father and a white working class mother from Brampton, a man who grew up in public housing, who knows what poverty actually looks like, has lived through it, and who decided to do something about it. That's not radical. Before politics, Jivani was a lawyer, an activist, and an author who created youth mentorship programs across Ontario. That's why he's getting involved with the universities, not to copy Charlie Kirk, because that's his world. Helping young black men get out of the cycle of violence and find opportunity was a big goal of his. He hosted the Jamil Jivani show on iHeartRadio, giving a platform to stories that the mainstream media never even would touch. And now he's in Parliament, standing for the same values he grew up with: family, community, and responsibility. The media will never give Jamil the airtime that he actually deserves, though, will they, in this country? Because he's, of course, not a liberal. Because his very existence destroys their narrative. A young black conservative who speaks about faith, accountability, and family strength? That can't be right. That's not supposed to exist. What the heck is going on here? But here he is. And every time he speaks in the House of Commons, a few more Canadians realize that the Conservative Party is not what the CBC tells them it is. It's what Canadians are: real, imperfect, but united by the idea that this country can still work for all of us. Jamil represents something massive in Canada: the possibility that conservatism can be rooted in compassion, that you can care about your community without handing your independence over to the state, that helping people does not mean growing government. It means growing opportunity from coast to coast, from north to south, throughout all of Canada, not just in parts of it or in its busiest cities and centers. And then there's Leslyn Lewis. Have you met Leslyn Lewis yet? There's some really great things that Leslyn does and brings to this country, because she was born in Jamaica, immigrated to Canada at the age of 5 years old. She has a PhD in law. She's a business owner, a lawyer, a mom, a Conservative MP for Haldimand, Norfolk. Leslyn is another symbol of what it means when representation gets very real, because she doesn't just represent a demographic. She represents values. She represents faith, family, and freedom. That's who Leslyn represents. You don't have to agree with her on every issue. We know some liberals are never going to agree on certain things conservatives do, but you have to respect what she stands for. She speaks from conviction, not calculation. And she's proven that Canadians will respond to authority, even if it makes people in Ottawa uncomfortable. Authenticity, I should say, not authority. Her message to young women across Canada is simple: you don't have to conform to be accepted. You don't need to fit into the polished focus group image that's been put together by the mainstream media of what a Canadian politician should look like. If you work hard, if you believe deeply in this country, and if you fight honestly, there's a place for you here, even among the conservatives, despite what the mainstream media will tell you, and cult-loving liberals. That's hope. That's the Canada we're supposed to be. But it seems that a lot of liberals have really gotten into their Trump derangement syndrome and have pushed that on the conservatives. They've lost touch with what reality actually means in this country. And what ties these stories together isn't tokenism in any way. It's transformation. The Conservative Party of Canada has actually really evolved over the years. You've got Lantsman representing a new urban conservatism. You've got socially open, economically fierce from her. You've got Jivani representing grassroots activism. You've got community first from him, not bureaucracy first. And you've got Lewis representing moral clarity, faith in people over faith in government, and so much more. This is the evolution of the Conservative Party. And then you've got Pierre Poilievre. He's leading a movement that says if you believe in freedom, if you work hard, if you love this country you live in, you belong here. Every single one of you, liberal or not, conservative or not, NDP or not. Representation that reflects Canada doesn't mean creating quotas or dividing people into checkboxes. It means building a team that mirrors the real country we live in, The single mom working the two jobs, the immigrant entrepreneur, the young graduate who can't afford a house, the farmer who feels forgotten by his or her government, the cop who's told to stay quiet, the nurse who's burnt out, the veteran who's being completely ignored. That's the conservative coalition of 2025. Reimagine our country to help all of those people. And it looks more like Canada than any other government we've had in over a decade. There's a big circle around the Liberals, like it's some sort of club of anger and pushing back against Donald Trump and the rest of the world, and we're right and you're wrong. And you know what makes this controversial all over? It's the fact that the mainstream media refuses to acknowledge any of that. They don't acknowledge the cult like behavior of some real grassroots liberals. They don't acknowledge the great things the conservatives do. They'll feature every token story about liberal firsts but when conservatives elect the first openly gay Jewish woman, the first black Muslim conservative MP, or the first Jamaican-born PhD candidate leading a leadership race, dead silence. Nothing. Worse, dismissal. They dismiss it as nothing because it's conservative. Because to them, representation only counts if you share their ideology and send them billions of dollars. But here's the truth. The most inclusive political party in Canada today isn't the one handing out government checks. It's the one building an economy strong enough that people don't need them. And yes, they can't make the final decisions to build the economy, so they're doing it among their own communities by helping out and getting their hands dirty. Conservatives don't want to control Canadians. They want to trust Canadians. They want to work with you. That's what diversity should mean, not controlling thought, not controlling what you can and can't do on the internet, but empowering choice. Choice that you have to work wherever you want, to live wherever you want, and to keep the government out of your way. So where does that leave us? Well, it leaves us with a movement that's quietly increasing, I would say, that's quietly rewriting what Canadian politics looks like. You have shows like mine and others in the conservative world trying to push that message now, since the media won't. A movement that's no longer afraid to say, we love this country and we love everyone who's willing to build it, but let's build it right. No matter where you come from, no matter who you love or what you believe in, that is a conservative way now. The liberals will tell you it's not, but it is. Because hope doesn't come from the government. Hope comes from the people, from you, from the millions of Canadians who are tired of division, tired of being told what category you fit into, tired of the narrative that says you're either oppressed or you're privileged. Hope is choosing unity across this country. Hope is choosing work over words. It's all words with the liberals. Hope is believing that our diversity isn't a political weapon, it's actually our strength. And the modern conservative movement, as we see it building today under Pierre Poilievre, the one that Pierre Poilievre, Melissa Lantsman, Jamil Jivani, Leslyn Lewis, and many, many others are building, is starting to finally reflect that. But the media doesn't want you to see it. They're not the fake photo op kind of diversity. The earned kind, that's who they are. They're the kind that comes from real people with real grit, telling their stories and fighting for a better Canada. That's representation that reflects Canada. And it's why I believe this country's best days aren't actually behind us. They're just getting started. We just have to make a difference in the message, and we have to make more people see it. Thanks for watching Bakes on Things, The Last Word. Go Jays Go tonight. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. And I'm going to say on this one, please share. I never actually push shares because that's really up to you whether you share it with your family and friends. But for this week, being Canada positive, I am asking you to share it because oftentimes messages like this don't get pushed out by the algorithm, and then not enough people see it, and we can't make the change we need to see. So please share it. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with the first sip on your Tuesday morning. Have a great Monday evening and enjoy the game if you're watching it tonight. See you tomorrow.